Hi, I'm Steve Duke, and this is the Sax Coach. Today, I'm going to talk about how to free your breath. Your breath is central to everything in life and central to everything you do in music and play saxophone. If your breath is inhibited, it's going to have an effect on what you want to do when you play. So, what is the best breath you can use when you play? The best breath you can use is a natural breath, one that is uninhibited. So there are ways that we can check to see if we are restricting our breath. Take a large breath and release it. Don't push it out, just release it, and notice how long it takes to get to a restful place. Like that. It shouldn't take any more than a half second to get to a neutral place. Now, there's a lung capacity that's below that neutral place that you don't want to go into. It's pushing that last part out. We'll talk about that later, but we're just going from a large breath to neutral. So try this again and see if you can let go of anything you're holding or restricting and come down quickly down to a half second. 1/2 second is all it takes. Let's try something else to see if we can get any more insight on your breathing. Take a large breath, release it, then relax and let go again. And notice if you have more air that just simply goes out on its own. It might look something like that. If you find yourself doing that, then that's an indication that you're holding your breath in instead of releasing it fully. Another thing you can do is to take a large breath and listen to the sound. Maybe it sounds like this. It has a higher pitch. It has a louder sound. It might even sound like this, where I'm closing my mouth a little bit. So we can restrict the flow of the air through our throat, our tongue, our jaw, and our mouth. So if you can hear the sound and if it's a higher pitch, then you know you're restricting the breath. A free, uninhibited breath is quick, a low sound, and a quiet sound, like this. You can hardly hear it. Now, we can do some things to help us let go of any tension or effort in our breath by parting our lips with a flat, soft tongue. Like that. It's a baby's tongue. You'll see an infant sticking their tongue out gently, and it fills their entire mouth with a soft, flat tongue. Notice when you do that, you might find your face relax, your throat relax, and your tongue relax. So this is a nice way to let go of any tension that might inhibit some of your breathing. Then after you do that, say the word ho. And use that word, that vowel at the end, and inhale. So you say ho, and you go backward and forward. Now, take a large breath of air and release it. Notice how it comes out now. Be careful not to hyperventilate, and if you do feel a little lightheaded, stop, sit down, and rest. Now, let's go to the saxophone and put this on the instrument. You can take off your neck and your mouthpiece. Whenever I do something fundamental with the instrument, I like to take the body off so that when I'm holding the instrument, I'm not going to some kind of familiar habit and I want to learn something new, I just go to the neck. So we're going to do the same thing, is to release a full breath of air through the mouthpiece and see how long it takes. Should about a second, not much more. And you may find that it's going to go back and check this without the instrument and notice if you've changed something when you put that mouthpiece in your mouth. So the next thing to do is to produce a sound with a breath attack, which means without the tongue, without tonguing the note. It's like this. I just came down to a neutral place. I didn't push the air. If I push the air, you'll notice something like that. It'll be a real crunch. So you might want to do this in front of a mirror to see if you do that. What we're trying to avoid is forcing that air through or holding it back. Now, the next thing to do is to put it on your saxophone, and let's see what happens when we play a note just by releasing the air. Several seconds to get the note through the horn. If you find yourself pushing, which a lot of people do because they assume they have to accelerate the air to get the tone. The air is accelerating by you simply releasing the inhalation. And that's a very short period of time, so you're moving a lot of air through the instrument. You won't need more than that. As you can tell, I held a note out for several seconds. Now, if you're having a little trouble with that and you're getting tight, go back and just release the air without making a sound. In order to do that, you have to be relaxed in the throat. Now, this is more than enough air to play a normal length phrase. That's more than enough to do what you need to do when you play saxophone. So this gets down to a very important part about how we produce sound and some of our assumptions in how we make sound. Tone is produced by the release of an action. We inhale, we let go of that action. We release the breath. Then the sound happens. That's counterintuitive to how we might think about sound in when we produce a sound through an action. But it's actually the opposite of that. The sound happens when we release the action. And this will free your playing up immensely when you're not working so hard and working so hard against the instrument. Now, when you start to work, it'll really affect everything in your playing. For example, when you push that last part of your breath out, you know, you're at the end of the phrase and you just got to make it to the end. Sometimes it happens. That will affect your fingers. It'll affect your tonguing, your time, everything. You can watch this and see how your nervous system responds to that effort by hanging your hands by your side and wiggling your fingers. Look at yourself in the mirror and look at your fingers move and start pushing out the last part of your breath like that. Push it. And you'll see my fingers begin to change in their movement. They become restricted. They become less. So when you start pushing and you start working hard to produce a sound, which you will always do at the end of your breath, then it's going to have a negative effect on your playing. So avoid that last part of your breath because you're going to effort to squeeze that part out. When you get down to a neutral place, take a breath. And what's nice about that is that when we do that, our inhalation is very quick because we're not having to stop pushing and then inhale. It comes in instantly because I'm not doing anything. So, if you have found this video to be valuable, select like and share it. You can subscribe to this channel, The Sax Coach, and get more videos that I will post on how to play saxophone and how to play jazz improvisation. You can also visit my webpage, thesaxcoach.com, for more material, or visit me on Facebook, The Sax Coach. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve Duke, and this is The Sax Coach.